Hi guys, welcome to today's episode. So one of the questions that we get often is people asking us, "Oh, how do I get into reading?" It's almost as if reading is reserved for a particular group of people, and I don't believe that. I believe that anyone can get into reading. The most important thing is finding the right books, starting the right way. You don't come and start reading by jumping into classics that you probably will not enjoy or don't like. So today we are going to be sharing tips on how to get into reading, books to start with if you want to get into Nigerian fiction, African literature, non-fiction, politics. And I have two of my friends slash colleagues with me. So I'm just going to allow them to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Deborah Caleb. I work for RovingHeights. Nice to meet you guys.
Hi Debbie, nice to have you here.
I am Confidence Olika and I work with RovingHeights as well.
Hi Confidence. So Debbie is from our Abuja store and Confidence is from our Lagos store. So, we have diversity. So we're going to be starting with tips on how to get into reading. And I think the first thing to understand is your interest. Because if you know what you're interested in, if you know the kind of things that, make you want to read, or the kind of things that excite you, basically, it will be easier for you to read books that are tailored in that direction, right?
That's true. Once you if you get a book that is in line with something that you're interested in, you like at least you have a motivation to get into it because it's already something that you like. So that's definitely a good idea for when it comes to a beginner reader, or it could also be for people who have not been they read, because we get a lot of those customers. I used to read
Yeah.
before, but then life happened, and then I don't
Yes.
have time to read anymore. So this find something that you like you have an interest in, and then that would push you to want to
Yes,
read.
want to read.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I get that a lot too. People reach out to me on Instagram, like, I love how you are reading and all of that, but I was reading in the past, but life happened. And I'm like, yeah, I understand
Some
that.
people say
But
they have books that they want to read, but they've been unable to read them. And one of the things I ask them is, do you like those books that you have? Like, are these things that you are
uh
interested in about
yes.
buying books?
Your taste can change over time. Let's say in the
That's
past
true.
you've been enjoying like genre fiction, but now that no longer interests you. The hack that I usually use is, if I finish the first two chapters of a book and I'm forcing myself to go to the third one, I just drop it. I just drop the book and find and find
Well,
something else.
I guess you're one of the stronger people. I'm the kind of person that can force myself to finish a book just to finish it when I don't like it. That's just a fact.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
well.
Ah, it's not me.
I'm
Oh.
like that, but
Sorry.
not every time. Like once in a while, I force myself to finish a book I don't like, but I drop it, read something else, and then come back to it when I'm into the
Mm.
reading thing.
Yeah, and sometimes our mind is not even ready to start a new book. That's also another part of, not
Mm-hmm,
forcing it.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. But once, like, there are some people, those times when you get into a slump after you've been reading, and then, like, a good number of the time, what gets me out of the slump is when I go back to either something that I really, really loved, or like, something that I'm really interested in, even if it's just to read, I challenge myself, I say, Debbie, just finish one chapter. And then once I finish the chapter, and then, because it's already something I like, one way or the other, I
Yeah.
end up hooked and I end up
Yeah.
finishing the book. So interest is always important when it comes to picking a book that you want
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah. So we have the first tip. The first tip is to identify your interests. Are you someone that likes mother-daughter relationships, books that explore that? Are you someone that likes politics? Are you someone that likes learning about the World War, the First World War, the Second World War? Once you identify these interests, you can now
Excuse
know.
me, Emeka, please include romance. Please include
Ah,
romance. Thank you.
Roma.
Those are the characteristics of
Sorry, oh.
interest.
Yes, if you're someone that likes romance, oh my God, there are so many romance books. Jesus, we'll get there. So the next tip is start small. So you don't have to start with 20 books. You can start with one book per month or one book in 2 months, depending on how busy or how free your schedule is. So the most important thing is to start.
Yeah.
Let me add something. Not necessarily starting one book. Sometimes people get scared of books because of how voluminous they are. So one of the
Yeah.
things I suggest is that they just go for short stories that have to like short story collections that
Yeah.
are very
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting and in line with their interest. So that when they start with those books, they can just easily like get into reading. If you're tired, you drop, you come back to it. Like that.
Mm. Yeah, and we have a number of short story collections, especially like written by African authors. There are like quite a lot of them, and
Yeah, but
I
yeah, let's recommend later. But definitely short stories is the best. Like confidence, thank you for that. That's definitely the best. I know that when I get into a slump at some point this year, what got me out of it was nearly all the men in Lagos are mad because
mm,
the short
Yeah.
story it was
yeah.
very easy to just get into. I finished one story as much as it pissed me off that they were that short, but still it got me out of the slump. So it's a win. So yeah, short
Mm,
stories it's definitely the best suggestion.
yeah, and there's something rewarding about knowing that, oh, I've finished this story, I'm moving on to the next. That's why I like books that have short chapters, because there's a sense of progress that you get when you're done with chapter one, you're heading to chapter two, you're heading to chapter.
There's nothing that pains you more than like I don't even know the people that do it. Why would you even make one a chapter 100 pages? Please, I'll drop the book. I'm sorry. What do you mean? Like it's like if you want to make a big book, like you can make 50, 20 pages for a chapter and we are good to go. So that when I'm reading, I feel like I'm actually moving, not the one I'm reading, and then I still have how
And
many
then
more
you're
pages
still
for one
stuck in that
chapter.
chapter.
So please, short
Exactly.
chapters are way to be, yeah.
I think some people just see people reading and then just come in and then just buy the book. I've seen people come in for Sarah J. Maas or like authors that have big books and they haven't read
Yeah.
in a very long time. Like, why do you do that to yourself? Why would you
Yeah.
put yourself like that? Something that you know you will not be done in months
They'll
and
be
you know
like,
you
it's
are lazy.
TikTok made me do it.
TikTok!
Auntie, you've not been reading in a while. Calm down.
Don't
Calm
rush and you
down,
don't go
I
ahead of
swear,
yourself.
the way I'm scared of Sarah's books, like
I will
the biggest
never.
books,
Oh God.
I'm so scared of it. But
Yeah.
hopefully, let's give it a shot next year.
All right,
Next
all
So
the
year.
best to you. The Lord bless
yes,
you.
this year I'm all booked out already. I don't have the energy. So yeah, we have the second tip. The second tip is start small. The
Mhm.
first one is know your interest. The second tip is start small. Start with
Okay, there's
books that.
also something that I want to say in relation to starting small. If
Mm,
you're the kind of person that doesn't mind spoilers, if you want to read a book, you could actually just read a brief summary. That we have a lot of blogs these days, because that
yeah.
is already something that you want to read. So if you read a short article, that will motivate you, that will ginger you before you get the book. That is also part of
Oh,
starting small as well.
okay. Okay. Hmm.
When you
I
read
don't
the
Yeah.
like
brief
spoilers.
summary of the book
Oh,
that you want to pick up, read
That will
it,
make you want
then
to get to know
yeah,
the
it will make you
story.
want to get it, and then this thing, if it's something that you like after reading the article, then you feel like you've actually put your money, like you get your money's worth after you've bought the book. So just reading the article is also part of starting small too.
hmm. I see. I see. And yeah, there's something there too, especially for books that are non-fiction, books that are about mental health. You can get a
Yeah,
sense of what you're getting into.
exactly. God
Yeah.
bless
So
you.
you're sure it
That's what
addresses what you want it to address.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's
Because we have a lot of books that the title is one thing, it promises that it's going to give you this, but when you end up buying
Yeah.
what it doesn't deliver what it said it was going to give to you. So just read that short article, be sure about it, because with all the summaries today, like people are not hiding their mouth anymore. They'll give it to you straight,
Oh my
like
God.
you don't know.
Half
They'll give it
pages,
to you
few
straight.
pages.
Yeah, so just off, do the research first, then you buy your book.
Yeah. Okay. So we have that. So the next tip is set goals. And before we get into this, I want to mention something. There's something that Roving Heights is doing that a lot of people don't know about. So last year we started this book subscription thing where you pay a certain amount of money and we deliver one book to you every month, with no extra charges like delivery fee and all of that. And a lot of people that have subscribed to this service, because I manage this service, a lot of them have, achieved their reading goal using this. So it's you pay I think it's 85,000 per month per year. So you pay 85,000 and every month you get three suggestions like, oh, so what happens is if your goal is to read one book a month, once you make this down payment, you are sure that okay, I'm going to be able to achieve this, because then every now and then I check in like, oh, how is your reading going? All of that. So I think that's another way to set goals and achieve those goals. But yeah, the next tip is to set goals.
Yeah, I believe so much in that setting goals. I think it was last year. I was trying to read a lot of books. I wanted to read a lot of books. And then I set a goal to read one book per week for over a year. And then it was just so interesting knowing that every week there's like something new that I'm going to explore and all that. I think one of the ways to also achieve those goals and goal rather to set like a routine. Or I'm going to read so time to this time to this time, this time to this time every day. That would just help you to achieve that goal. It's not just about setting it, it's about making plans to achieve it.
I get that's true. That's true. That's true. My goal this year is 50 books. I am 30 books in, so you guys should wish me luck.
I wish you a lot of luck. How do you
I don't know.
get time?
I don't know how this year got away from me. I don't know. I still can't believe we're in September, but yeah.
Yeah. Good. I was reading one book a month. I don't even know. Right now I'm at 3-4 books a month. Yeah. I did 7 last month, but I don't have a goal. I'm not putting a goal this year. Nah. Just reading as it comes.
7 is actually very impressive. Wow.
I don't know what happened last month. I was just going through a lot and then I just knew that to my therapy. I just go through anything. I just pick up a book. I start it.
So yeah, set goals, reward yourself also. So if you are setting goals of like one book a month, if you achieve that, reward yourself with something like that will, ginger you to achieve next month's goal. That's something else that you should also consider when getting into reading. All right. So the next tip on my list, which is the last one, is get a community, build a sense of, or yes, get into a community or build a sense of community around your reading interest. And I feel like Roving Heights is one of the best places to develop this. We have book clubs. I think we have a book club coming up in October, a book club slash book swap, where people can come and swap their old books, and a book club discussion of Chika Onigwe's The Middle Daughter for October 14th.
I cannot wait for it. So good. I got into Chika from that book. I cannot wait.
When the book club is over, our first episode of this podcast was with Chika Onigwe on The Middle Daughter. So probably when you finish the book, you can listen to that as well. So, but yeah, the sense of community, it helps a lot. And I know this also from the Bookstagram community. It's such a wholesome thing.
Definitely. And it's life, it's always better you're surrounded by the people who have the same interest as you, and you get to discuss it and then talk more when it's books, so that we'll just be fangirling about the guy we liked and all of that stuff. Well, that's not the only stuff we fangirl about, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, be like romance.
Yeah, but anyways, when it I do 100%. I would live and die on that table. Nobody can push me off. But anyway,
I used to tell her that she's living in unrealistic world, because me, I know they do romance.
If you read African fiction, I think you'll be off it already, because these authors are just giving us back to back traumatic.
Leave me alone. Reality is hard enough. Allow me to fantasize. Thank you. But that's definitely it. Surround yourself with people who have the same interest as you. And for someone who is starting off, when you have people who are gingering you, you'll be more motivated to go and do that thing. It's not just about setting goals, making plans. It's also good to be accountable. And when you have a book club, like a book club where every single month they tell you this is what people are going to read and we're going to discuss it on so and so date, that would also make you want to read. We have customers that come in to come and get a book. They'll be like, oh, I was not reading until I joined this book club, and then every month they make us read this. They'll be like, I don't join every single month, but the months that I do join, at least that's a success for me, because compared to before, I was not reading. So that's something. Join a book club, be part of something, that's then going to motivate you to take that first step towards that the goal that you're building for yourself, or however many books that it is that you want to read.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always the right people. If you want to do one book in a year, there's someone that wants to do one book in a year. If you want to do 100 books, there's someone that wants to do 100 books. So
And then I
that
think
sense
book
of
clubs help you
Mhm.
explore other genres, like not just what you're
That's
yes,
interested in. You now get to
yes.
explore more authors, or like more different things from what you usually just read and see. That's actually good.
That's true. That's true. Bookstagram has made me, even sometimes, I think earlier this year I read a few romance. And I'm just like, that's cute. Even though but yeah. All right. So we have 4 tips in total. Know your interest, start small, set goals and reward yourself when you achieve those goals. Get into a community or build a community around your interests, and that should, get you started. So we're going to be recommending a few books for people that want to get into African literature and African nonfiction, foreign nonfiction, politics. We're just going to be going round. I'll start first, then Debbie and Confidence, and then we circle back again. The idea is these books that we're recommending for you here, these are books that you can easily buy and books that you can easily get into. Do you get? So I'm going to start first with Black Ass by Igoni Barrett. Hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. But yes, Black Ass, the reason I'm recommending Black Ass is that it's one of the books I read, one of the first books I read when I started getting into African literature. And there's something very undigestible about it. So it's about this guy, I think Furo, that wakes up and he's white. He's a Nigerian, yeah. But then something happens and he wakes up and he's like a full white man, but his ass is black. And then we follow him as he goes to search for jobs, as a lot of things happen to him. But the writing is very easy, and the book will grip you from the first chapter because you are very interested in what happened, what's going on. And then the book has this element of contemporary voice to it. And it also brings in Twitter. There's a lot of things going on. So yeah, that's why I'm recommending Black Ass as my first book.
Okay, so for my first book, funny enough, I'm not even going to recommend romance, even though I've been hailing it all throughout. But my first book that I would recommend for someone that is starting out, if you're into the nonfiction self-help genre, or if you feel like, or you're somebody that wants to start reading and you don't want to read fiction, you want to read something that, according to you people, is serious book, you can pick up Atomic Habits by I'm sorry that I cannot remember the author's name. Is in my head, but it's not coming out. But
I
Atomic
think it's James Clear, I think.
Yeah, James Clear.
James
Yeah, the
Clear,
person that was
yeah.
in my head was Charles Duhigg, but Charles Duhigg is Power of Habits, not Atomic Habits. But Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's the one that I would choose for anyone. So Atomic Habits is basically, the way he wrote it is a very simple read. He talks about how for reaching a goal, it's not about being like, this is the goal, and then every day you're like, this is the goal, this is the goal. No, he said that a goal is tiny itty bits. That's how you achieve it, making atomic, like little steps before you actually get to that goal. So if you're someone who you want to lose weight, or you want to start, you feel like you want to have how do I put it? Basically, if you want to be a starter as a reader, rather than I'm going to finish this one book today, start with I want to finish, even if it is one page today. That is a little step. That is an atomic step towards the huge habits that you want to hate. If it is somebody that you want to lose weight, then start with, oh, I'm going to cut out one thing out of my diet. I'm going to take this little step towards achieving this huge goal. So break it down. He talks about how he had an accident, right? Or that was how he started the book. He had an accident, that it kind of damaged his football career. But then
Yeah.
he went through rehabilitation, recovery and all of that stuff. And then there was one thing that he kept doing every morning. That was that he started working out after rehabilitation, every single morning. And then that's how every single morning he was doing this little thing every single day. And then
Wow.
it's been 10 years and he is so built up and buffed up and he's so healthy because he did not stop taking those little steps. So it's a very good book. It's easy to read. Don't mind how big the book itself is. You don't have to finish it in one day, a little step. Start with, if it is one page, one chapter. So it's a
Yeah.
great book for people who are into the
And books like
genre.
that, you don't read them to finish them. You read them to understand.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And it's something that once you finish it, you want to start it all over again too. That's how good it is and that's how helpful it is as well. So just
Mm,
for you who wants to if you have a goal, whatever it is, or even if you don't even have a plan, you can read that and that can actually help you towards whatever goal or plan it is that you want for the future. So it's a great book.
Wow. Now you make me
thank
want
you.
to come pick it up. Okay, for my own first book, I would recommend Better Never Than Late by Chika Onigwe. I think I discovered her this year, but after I read Read It, it took me a while to read books. So when I was trying to get back to reading, I realized, okay, this author writes what I like. So I picked her up, I picked the book up, and I was done in just a few hours. A collection of short stories on Nigerians that moved to Germany and their lives. And the characters are just very, very relatable. They're like
Mm.
everyday characters, they're living everyday
Mm,
lives of how you japa and the struggles that people go through. And there's a bit of humor. There are a lot of things that really interest anyone within the book. And then it's easy to read because the English, but the diction is quite simple and very,
yeah.
very, very relatable. And the stories are interesting. So that would be like my first recommendation.
I think I've read
Mm.
one of the stories in that book. I'm going to give it a shot actually because yeah, I love Chika. I've read
I
on
think
Black
when you
Sister
read it,
Street.
please tell me your favorite character because rap is mine.
No problem. So for me, my next book will be um Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. So this was I made a conscious decision to read African literature in 2021, I think. So one of the first books I read was this Stay With Me, and it just blew me away because it's about this woman that desperately wants a child. She desperately wants to have a baby. And she can't seem to conceive until something happens in the book. But Ayabami writes it in a way that is very easy to follow, very easy to get into, and then the ending will make you what to I don't know, let me just not spoil it. But yeah, so Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. That's the next on my list.
Okay, so for my next recommendation is going to be from Politics recommending it, but it's a customer recently recommended it to me. Love Does Not Win Elections by Aisha Osori. So the author herself, she is a lawyer and advocate, and she talks about how she contested, you know, for the People's Democratic Party to be to be part of the House of Representatives back in 2015, but then she lost. So love does not really enough all the things she felt like she was taking all the right steps in pleasing Nigerians, only for her
Mm,
to get, to like face it and meet all the, nepotism, manipulations, basically all of the she just details her journey of, the good side and the dark side of competing, as an as a representative in the Nigerian government. So, like, it's for someone who is starting out in the politics genre. Love Does Not Win Election is a great book for you to read. It's easy to read. It's easy to flip through. I'm really grateful to that customer that recommended it to me. The English is very. If it's like speaking to a layman, it's easy to pick on. If you're starting out, and if you're the one, or rather, I don't know how to put this. If you're someone for politics, you could pick this up. And if you're someone who is starting out reading and you don't want to read fiction, self-help, you want to read politics, book for you to pick up as well. So that's my second recommendation.
Nice, thank you.
Hi, okay. So my next recommendation, I was going to recommend earlier the men in Lagos Ahmad, but they've already said something earlier about it.
Yeah, but recommend it,
Yeah, so yeah, that was my one because it is the humor in the book is just so a lot, and the stories about Lagos, about people living in Lagos, about all the things that happen in Lagos, and for every location, and even people that have heard things about Lagos, it's something you want to pick up because you already it's just that book that has a collection of everything. Funny stories about Lagos, about the bad things that happen in Lagos, the most unbelievable things that happen, like the story about a gay club where all their wives know that they are all not straight, and you wonder why these people are keeping the secret from their families or making their wives go through that stress. But it's just a lot of stories, different kinds of stories that you'd want to read about. So yeah, that would be my next recommendation.
Also, don't forget to recommend the new one. Who drove? Somebody has responded.
I don't want to talk about that book because I don't want to talk about. I've read that book. I don't talk about it. It's not for me. I have.
I'll actually call you after this to discuss that book. But yeah, I think for me, so there's something that we do, which is a lot of the times we say African fiction has a lot of pain inside it. So this next book I'm going to recommend, it's a very simple, average book that doesn't deal with all that heavy trauma or heavy themes. So it's The Mechanic of Yenegua by Michael Afenfia, and it's about this mechanic, Ebinimi, who manages to get himself inside a lot of troubles with his girlfriend, with borrowing money, with fixing people's cars, with his neighbors. So a lot of all those very average, very funny things happen in the book. And I think for someone that wants to get into reading that has no experience at all, it will be a good place to start.
Okay. I was going to recommend for my third recommendation, Battlefield of the Mind, but I can see that we don't really have copies, by Joyce Yu, by Joyce May as well. Also one of those books that you end up picking up more than once. Authentically, Uniquely You is a faith book, it's a faith-based book. So it basically talks about how you're a unique person, and as much as we live in a world that's always, with all the different information and background noise, who are trying this thing, Authentically Uniquely You basically tells you that you are this unique being, created and placed on the earth by God, with a unique purpose for you to accomplish on the earth. So, I would recommend it for pretty much anybody, Christian or otherwise. But as a believer, if you're one who wants to strengthen your faith, or you want, and you've not been reading books apart from your Bible, that's a great thing. So this will be a great book for you to pick up. It teaches you about who you are in God. It teaches you about how you can stand out in the world. You don't have to blend in. It teaches you about identity basically and all that you are in God. So that's my third recommendation, and it's faith based. So
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Just to add to what Emeka said about Michael, I can't pronounce the last name, about about the book. So we have an author's chat with him in October as well. That'll be on Instagram. It'll be on Instagram live. It will be streamed on Instagram. Yes. So yeah. So
that's for that his new book, Leave My Bone in
Saskatoon. Yes.
Yeah, but obviously, we all know what happens when you call somebody for one book. There will definitely be questions from another book that the person wrote, so they can still come with their questions.
Yeah, definitely. Mine will be, I think we should have a drum roll here. Chimamanda's Purple Hibiscus. I mean,
You're
that was
taking
one of
us
the
back
books.
to Osho,
Yes,
yeah,
I'm taking you
yeah.
back to the
To our
that's the
grassroots,
beginning of
yes.
contemporary African.
Uh-huh.
So that's one of the books I started reading when I went to start reading African fiction. It was the language was just very easy, and then the characters are young, so makes it more relatable. And then the story is heartbreaking in a way too, because I mean, the popular because the language is very easy and the story is interesting. It makes you want to find out what happened. It breaks your heart in the process, and you just love the relationship that Dada and everybody has, the family has, and it's just a very, very relatable, something that you want to read. I can't really say much right now because I'm scattered right now. I
Yeah,
have a lot of customers in front of me.
that's fine. Thank you very much for that. So, for our listeners, we are going to list all these books in the description of this episode with the links to them on our website, so you can just check the description and click the one you want and purchase it from our website. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, the link to them is in the description. But before we wrap up, Debbie, what are you currently reading?
Okay. So my current read is
Is it plenty?
yes, I don't know which one to call.
Call the most recent one.
Okay, The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. That's the one that is, of my top current read. Yeah, so that's my current read. The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman, talking about how all of us humans we have a love language, and in order for someone to love us effectively, it's best for them to know the love language that calls out to us the most.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
then they'll be hitting
Okay.
the nail on the target rather than, trying to please us in a way that it's their own love language and not my own love language. Are you getting? So
Yeah.
I'm still starting out on it, but it's a good read, it's a good book. So if you want, you can pick that up as well. But yeah, that's my current read.
Okay. Confidence, what's your current read?
So I'm currently reading, or rather, I just finished reading Chika Unigui's on Black Sister Street.
For sure, you and this will
Ah,
pick on me for
ah.
sure.
No, but that book is so good.
See,
Oh
after
my
I
God,
read
that book.
Middle Sister, I went back to check all the books Chika has written, and I'm going to read, even if Chika puts a full stop on something, I'm going to go ahead and go and read it. I also read from Of This Our Country, and I also liked her, what's it called, her
Oh,
contribution
her
as well. So
essay.
I now
Yeah.
have like a thing for her. I'm obsessed, an obsession. So yeah, but I'm about to start Michael's very Leave My Bones in
That's
Saskatoon
the
against
okay.
the author's chat. So
Okay.
yeah, those are two books I actually recommend. Saskatoon one is about that, it's not about that story, Sha, but the on Black Sister Street is about those that travel to for sex work. Sha. It's
Yes,
an
Mm-hmm.
yes.
interesting book. Yeah, someone
Travel
dies,
to
they're trying to
Germany.
solve. So, yeah, I think she
Was
has
it
a
Germany?
no.
I think it was
It's an European country. I'm trying to remember.
starts with a B.
I
I can't remember. So they
can't
traveled
remember.
to
Yeah,
the name is at the tip of my tongue. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to Antwerp in Belgium. Yes, it's Antwerp.
Yes. Belgium. It starts with B. For me, I just finished reading Manoa Street by Sophie Bouillon. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. So she's a French journalist. That the book is a memoir about her time in Nigeria during the Takwa Bay demolition and also during the COVID-19 lockdown. So it's a very small book, but it's actually very beautiful. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, about Lagos, about Takwa Bay, and yeah, it's generally a very good book. So that's what I just finished a few days ago. So now I think for my next read, I'm going to be going back to Elif Shafak, The Island of Missing Trees. So that's the next thing I'm
You're reading very serious books. All the best. All the best.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for doing this. I know you're busy at the moment, but yeah, thank you for the time, and I really appreciate.
Well, thank you for inviting us. I was glad to discuss books with you guys. So,
Yeah. All right.
bye. Thank you.
Bye. See you guys next time.